Okay, yeah. So I think the one thing that we find when it comes down to alcohol is, look, people seem to think that, like, well, I mean, like when you end up having like a night out and you're drinking and stuff like that, what you tend to find is you'll get very much like throughout that night, very disruptive sleep. And I know people think they seem to think that you fall into this deep sleep, but you actually don't. And if you've ever noticed, probably what you find is you wake up very early, probably the next day. But the thing is, though, it's not a proper full-on deep sleep, and that is where we can end up feeling pretty rubbishy the next day. Then you're thinking about, oh gosh, this happened and that happened, or it could be like I've got this that's got to be going ahead, and you're just not thinking straight. You're kind of like all over the place, really. And yeah, totally relate to, like, when it comes down to drinking and stuff like that. And it was something that I had in my past. So it just gives you brain fog. You just can't think straight. And I think anybody that's trying to get a little bit more clarity, I would say, yeah, certainly try and like ease down on it, and limit it down to sort of like every now and then. Like for me, yes, I don't get me wrong, all my followers know I absolutely love a gin and tonic, and it's one thing that I'm open about. But what I would say is, though, is when I have a gin, it's probably maybe once over the weekend, and it's probably only one or two. Every now and then, obviously, we'll go a little bit more, maybe Christmas time, birthdays. But I really do sort of limit it down, and especially the fact that it's been locked down. How many people? I must admit, first lockdown, I was awful. It was almost like an excuse to drink almost every single day. And every single Thursday, when it was the clap outside, we literally, all as neighbours, we all went outside, we did our clap, then we all did. I was pretty good on this side. So we had like almost an Indian takeaway every single Thursday evening. We're all keeping ourselves all socially distanced with our neighbours. But for me, I've always gone for like a king prawn shashlik when I end up going for like for my Indian, which is all grilled. So I'll have that. I'll end up having my rice. I can have like a nice big salad there. So it just shows, like, we're going completely off topic here, but it just shows that when you do go for takeaways, though, you can obviously, be a little bit more. You can think about it a little bit better to know that you can have a much better quality meal. But then obviously with that, that's when the drinking came in as well. You're outside, you're having a good few drinks. One turns into two turns into three, and so forth. And yeah, it just got to a point now, like literally it started on a Thursday, then you're drinking on a Friday, then it was Saturday, and you think, oh fuck it, I might as well do Sunday as well. And it just gets a little bit out of hand, and that's when you need to like realize to yourself something needs to stop. Yeah. So
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Fair play, because that's the first time that I've heard in this whole lockdown. That's the first time I've heard a trainer be honest about their alcohol. I'm not saying that trainers aren't, but that's the first time I've heard a trainer actually be, or a coach be open about their alcohol consumption. So top points for that. Yeah, because I do know in the first lockdown, a lot of people were struggling with that. And for myself, like, I'm that kind of person where if I'm not, if I allow myself to go through that door of having a drink here and a drink there, in a situation like the lockdown, I'm pretty sure I would have gone mental. One more thing on drinking as well, and fitness, is that I think that ultimately, interestingly, like building a good physique, achieving your fitness goals, I think something that's really, really neglected a lot is, and this is an interesting one, is developing actual hobbies outside of training. Because if you think about it, like, I know from personal experience, the reward mechanisms of my brain when I used to drink a lot were like, right, I've been good all week, I can have a few drinks. Or, I had a hard day at work, but I did work hard, so I can justify that to have a few drinks. Whereas, and it's a hard thing to do as an adult because we're stressed and it takes effort to develop hobbies, and it takes effort to find out things you like. But whereas now, what I've got into recently is learning classical music, like on the guitar,
Yeah, cool.
And basically it's actually something I really look forward to and enjoy doing and like feel proud of, if you know what I mean. And so that has become that's starting to become more and more of a hobby for me. And it's just like a pastime that I can do by myself. Because if you think about it, like those classical composers like Bach, they have written like unbelievably flawless music, and when you play it, it's like you're channeling something that's hundreds of years old. It's just beautiful. And anyway, my point is that if you think about the reward mechanisms of the brain, it's often we just get locked into that pattern of going, right, I've done something good, alcohol. It's like the reward. Whereas we can, if we put the effort in, start to rewire that reward system. And I feel one of the biggest ways we could do that is through hobbies.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. It's when it comes down to hobbies, I mean, like, one of the things, I think things have probably changed a lot for me over the years, especially now being a parent, and having two kids. But just that in itself really kind of limits down the amount of drinking you'd have. So even though I probably had like drinks as well, like every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I think all Sunday, well, make sure to get the last one in, because tomorrow's Monday. So yeah, what I would do is limit down probably the amount that I would drink at once, and it's probably kind of spread out. I might have drunk a little bit more, who knows, like in that time. But when you've got kids though, it's like some of the hobbies that we tend to do something as a family together. So we'll go out, or we'll go to the park and stuff like that, and we'll just make sure that we hit our step goal, say for instance. And not only that, but I mean, like, it's doing things like that and playing about with the kids, and sort of like we'll my 4-year-old's going to be 5 on Saturday, but he's got really into football. So one of the things we've tried to get him to do, we make sure he does like swimming, and he'll play football as well at least once a week and stuff like that. So this was obviously before lockdown happened, but we keep these little habits up. And I think one of the things that we tend to do as a hobby, I guess as a family hobby, is we'll go out and we'll do these things, and it just means that we're getting outside, we're getting away from the TV, we're getting away from, it could be drinking and stuff like that. How easy is it, on a Sunday afternoon, to put your feet up and just let the kids play and you just sit there and have a drink? I've heard plenty of parents doing it. How about you just do something as a family together? So there's nothing more really like rewarding as a parent to, like, see your kids laughing, having fun. You're doing something with them as well. So even you're getting something out of it, and I just think it's very, very important that we focus on these things and allow, because the thing is, children absorb. And the thing is, like, I do a workout, my kids are there, they get involved in it. If I do a squat, they do a squat. My youngest, in fact, even my oldest, could squat on command. Like, literally, I'll tell him to squat at the age of 2. And it's because he saw me doing it so often. And even my youngest as well, he's 2, and he will squat on demand as well. But it's not because I'm trying to force that into them. They just absorb, they see these things. My 4-year-old does press ups, not because I've told him to do it, because he sees daddy doing it. So he wants to do it. Daddy, can I get on your back and do press ups? Yeah, sure. He's finding it fun. It's more resistance for me. So, there's all these things. And I know obviously as a personal trainer, like you say, yeah, but this is your career, but it's also a hobby. The way we get into this is because we've got such this passion for training, that we just love it. It's also a hobby to us. And I just think it's good to just get active hobbies in, like for you playing the guitar and stuff like that, and you're obviously getting into classical music, but then you've got something to show for it after. With alcohol, you've got nothing to show for it after, then just say like, oh, I feel rubbish the next day. Whereas at least when you end up, like, if you record a piece or you're writing something, you can carry on working on that and be like, well, I've done this bit, and I'm going to try and carry on and just kind of do a little bit more. You've got something to show for it though, and you see some kind of reward out of that as well at the end of it, especially if you finish it.
Yeah.
Or when you finish it, should I change it to?
yeah, no, I couldn't agree more with everything you said there. I think that was a really good that was a really quality what you said about the kids, that they absorb what you're doing. And I guess it's effort. You have to be conscious, right? So parenting in that sense, you have to be conscious. Like, it is tempting just to do nothing. You're probably a little bit tired, but if you wanna, obviously you're having an impact on their lives, and it's your life as well, right? So I think there's always like the unconscious path where you can just as you say, just sit down, relax in one way, have alcoholic drinks, but then what your kids learning, they're learning that, I mean, I don't know what they would learn from that, probably not much. But then if you participate actively with them and they're learning things like exercise, wow, yeah, your kids are going to be little sporting stars, hopefully.
Yeah, let's hope.
But yeah, they're lucky, definitely. I mean,
I would never force it on them. Look, at the end of the day, you know, it's like for especially my eldest who plays football, like I'd never force it on him if he didn't want to do football. I'd say fair enough, you want to find something that you enjoy. I would never force anything on them at all. This is just something obviously they see me do and they just feel they want to copy, and I guess that's what it is. And I
yeah,
guess that's what we want to do as parents. And if they see drinking all the time, then you know, how does your personality change after a few drinks? You know, and they see that, they're only going to kind of copy your attitude maybe if you end up becoming a little bit, you know, crazy or angry or however you might be. So it's very good to just incorporate. I think it's very important that we just kind of incorporate those active habits.
yeah, man, conscious parenting. Maybe
Absolutely.
maybe there's a book in you.
Maybe.
Conscious parenting for the active child.
We're onto something now.
Yeah. All right, man. So look, we could carry this conversation on forever, but what for our listeners, what I'd like to know is how you work with your clients.
Sure. So like when it comes down to our training, I mean, me as a parent, I totally understand exactly what clients are going through and stuff because I work with busy parents. And you always think to yourself that you've not got time. You know what, you make time for it. And you know, for me, sometimes when it comes down to training and I'm getting my own workouts in, I get the kids involved. And I tell my clients to do the same sort of thing, really. You know, we even did over lockdown, the first period, actually, we ended up doing like a whole family sort of workout virtual class that we were doing. That was pretty cool. But it was just getting the kids involved. And so many times I talk to parents and they tell me, I haven't got time to train. I'm like, how are you feeling right now in yourself? I feel rubbish. I want to lose weight. I want to get more energy. Okay, well, what are you going to do about that? You know, you're going to use that excuse to say that your kids are always stopping you from doing that. You can't. You got to incorporate that with you and actually use that to your advantage rather than a disadvantage. So something, you know, if I include with my training is, you know, if I'm doing like, you know, push-ups, my kids want to get involved with it. They might want to get on my back or they might want to do it next to me. But I look at that as an advantage because it's like, cool, we're doing something together, or cool, you know, my son's jumping on my back and, you know, I've got more resistance on that. And I say that with my clients. They may not be able to necessarily do push-ups, but, you know, we start off by doing something. And it's really good to get the whole family working together because, again, it turns into that whole, what we were saying before, family hobby, family activity. You know, it could be half an hour of the workout. That's cool because, you know, half an hour of doing something rather than half an hour of doing nothing, you know, we can obviously see the difference there. So yeah, the way I work with them is we just kind of come up with a plan that's going to work well for them and their family life. And we just kind of incorporate a lot more sort of like it could be just focusing on certain goals that we feel that they can all achieve together as a family. It's not when you're working with parents, I think it's more like you're not necessarily working with one, you're working with the family, really. And it's thinking about that and just planning ahead and just making sure you're prioritizing certain things.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's such I love it because so many people complain well, not complain, but so many people as parents see their kids as being a limiting factor, but actually you can just completely reframe it. And if I think about it, there was a remake of a Bruce Lee film called The Dragon. I don't know if you ever saw that with
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And at the start of it, there's like when Bruce Lee has a kid, and the kid, maybe I made this up in my head as a memory, but Bruce Lee's like happily training with his kid, and watching that as a young child, I didn't think, oh, what a pain in the ass that kid is for Bruce Lee having to train. It's like clearly it's exactly what you described. It's like a positive thing. It's like a family activity. Like, of course your kids should be involved. Like they learn from you, and actually it's just we just invented a problem that maybe doesn't even exist, which is kids. And in actual fact, like, why wouldn't you want to involve your kids? Surely you would want to involve your kids. Like, isn't that the absolute best thing that could possibly happen? Like,
absolutely, yeah, 100%, yeah.
Isn't that actually ridiculous to not think your kids would be getting involved? Like, you know, because kids obviously learn, as you say, through absorbing. Yeah, perhaps there's like a complete reframe that it needs to be pushed more. Yeah. Anyway, all right, man. And have you got any projects coming up? Anything that people may want to get involved in?
Yeah, so well, we've just literally finished our 10-day challenge, which literally finished yesterday, and literally we're just starting the 6-week fat loss accelerator program. So that starts. I'm trying to actually look. So date wise, if I get that up. So it's not this Monday. I can't even get the date up on here. I've got my diary.
Diary.
I can't even think. Literally can't even think right now. What date are we? What date are we even today? We're what? 25th, aren't we? Yeah. So literally, so it doesn't start next Monday, but it starts the following Monday, which is the 8th of March. We're going to be, yeah. So that is going to be, yeah, it's cool. It's going to be like a fat loss, a 6-week fat loss program where we're going to be sort of teaching more like about habits. We're focusing on, there's going to be workouts there. There's going to be a closed Facebook group. They've got recipes in there. So I've got recipe books in there. We're going to be talking about like bits of nutrition. And it's just going to be a closed Facebook group with a load of like-minded people. And yes, we've got that coming up. So for your listeners anyway, I will like obviously do a special offer for you. So it is retailing at £79, but I'll sort you out a discount code anyway. And yeah, they'll be able to get it for £59. However, the doors do close on the Friday. So yeah, make sure we get on there.
There you go. And how can people get in touch with you?
Sure, yeah. So you can obviously find me on Facebook. So it's facebook.com/personal fitness development 1, which is my page. I've also got like a free Facebook group that they can go, which is Train with Coach David. But the best place to probably get me would be on my Instagram, which is @CoachDavidUK.
Cool. And we'll attach links to where you can contact David below. All right. Okay. So cool. All right. Thanks for coming on, dude.
No, it's been a pleasure. Loved it. It's been amazing.
And look forward to joining you on your podcast.
All coming soon.
All right. Take care, my man.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.